All right. So I'll start off. I did a article. I gotta find it really quick. Sorry. On access codes. It's called the challenge with access codes. It was on cccoer.org. Um, and the three takeaways from that were how low income students are not able to afford or take classes that require an access code. The 2 week free trial option doesn't help as an entire semester's worth of coursework cannot be completed or learned in that time. Um, my second one was after the semester ends, the access code expires, leaving students with no way of reference to materials after a class has ended. So we can't go back ever and grab that book that we bought that was online. And then the third thing was faculty are trying to adopt more OER materials, giving students a chance to excel without the high cost of the access codes. Um, some implications were the access code dilemma has on students is that there's not a good learning environment that comes with this extension of class. Most classes that require an access code are prerequisites or mandatory classes that students need in order to graduate. Access codes add an extra and unnecessary factor that hinders a student's ability to get a proper education. Um, so because these access codes are hundreds of dollars, we don't really know like how much they sort of range in. And I've been in the boat where they're like 150 $200, but you don't even use half the materials on there, but they make you buy them for no reason. um so that was the article that I sort of wrote about. I'm trying to see if there's anything else that I needed to go over with on that one. Do you guys have any questions on that? Oh, I have to actually talk about why I picked this. So the reason why I picked this item and article was because I've been in that same like boat of access codes and sort of like know the cost of them and like can see like how they can affect other people if they don't have that money. And thankfully I was able to provide and get those access codes for myself.
Yeah, I know that's like a problem for so many students, especially on financial aid, because it doesn't really
Yeah.
cover that.
Yeah,
And
exactly.
my roommate freshman year, we were taking the same math class, and I covered the cost of our like math book for her because she had no way to pay for it, and she couldn't use the temporary one.
Yeah, that's the worst. And even like the 2 week trials, they don't really do anything for you, but just give you like literally the assignments are never open, I feel like, enough to even do all the work that you could. And pushing yourself to do all that work is not fun.
Honestly, this semester for one of my classes, I had to get one of the textbooks that come with the access code. And originally I thought I wouldn't need to. But then I was like, hey, is it possible for me to just get like a used version of the textbook so I can like just study and take tests? But no, I had to buy a whole brand new book just to get the access code with it. And it's not even a book. It's literally just printed out
Yeah,
pages.
Yeah.
that's how
$100
it
for printed
is.
out pages.
It's so ridiculous.
Guys, I'm gonna be honest. I was on scholarship, so I have no idea what you guys are talking about. But I'm not on scholarship this semester and I'm kind of scared. You guys are like scaring me.
It's not that bad. Do you have financial aid or no?
No.
I mean, I feel like the worst part, if like your classes are done, it's just like the textbooks, but I find a lot of my textbooks on like Amazon and stuff. And then, I forget if you just look like on Google just for them, like the ISBN numbers are like, just make sure they're the same and you should have like the same books. But usually I find them on Amazon for cheap and you just rent them for like $20.
Yeah.
Okay. That's probably what I'm gonna do.
But the access code, that's a whole like, but if there's access codes, you can't like buy an access code or like rent an access code. It doesn't work like that, which I feel
Yeah.
like would be so much like better. But how are they going to make their money then, you know?
Do they got a guarantee?
Okay, so for my article, I found one on the American Council of Education, and the article it's called Final COVID-19 Pulse Point Survey of Higher Education Leaders Shows How Institutions Are Adapting. And basically the whole thing was about how it was about like mental health and COVID and the decline in enrollment for the fall of 2021 and how they're handling everything. And I picked this because obviously it's very relevant right now and like everything that's going on and how universities and colleges are trying to handle all of that. And a couple of the main takeaways that I got from it was that a lot of universities are having a vaccine requirement to be able to go on campus. And I feel like that's tough for a lot of people because obviously it's kind of like a controversial thing. Not a lot of people accept the vaccine or want it, or maybe their families don't want them to get it, or it causes problems like that. But then they're not allowed to be back on campus. So then they're stuck doing a semester from home again, or like the whole year from home again. And another takeaway I got from it was that their mental health services are increasing and their telemedicine and everything. They're putting a lot more funding into that and focusing on like the mental health side of the student, which I think is really good because I think this past year took a toll on so many people. So I think that's important that they're really focusing on the mental health of their students. And also, yeah, so the enrollment for mainly minorities and people with lower incomes, it dropped drastically for their enrollment for the fall of 2021, which I don't think is much of a shock after COVID. Obviously, a lot of people lost a lot of money, and with everything going on, like it's not like that surprising that so many people aren't able to apply anymore, especially added on with the need for a vaccine for a lot of universities that takes away a lot of opportunities for a lot of people. So yeah, those would be the implications. Obviously, it puts a lot of students at a disadvantage, not being able to apply or not being able to show up without a vaccine. So yeah, I just think that's like important to draw attention to. Like COVID is like things are getting better, but like it's not over, and like a lot of stuff is still happening because of it. So yeah.
I like that you were focusing on like the mental health side and how you said that too. Because last semester I was doing projects and like, or not last semester, 2 semesters ago for like research class and stuff. So we had to like pick topics, and one of the groups did something about mental health awareness like due to COVID and how like the rates like skyrocketed and how like the mental health services on campus were being like implemented, but it was still being like online. It wasn't face to face. So like how that was like helping and like not helping sort of. So how you're saying that, like, I totally like understand what you mean just from like putting those two together.
Yeah.
Yeah, definitely. I've been doing a lot of research on mental health too recently, just out of an interest in psychology overall. And it's amazing to see how drastically the amount of mental illness cases went up once COVID started, just like Devin said.
Yeah.
But then it raises the question of like, were a lot of these issues already present before COVID started and COVID just kind of set it all off? Or is it a result of COVID? Like, did you guys feel it like, did you feel like you're going insane being trapped inside?
I feel
a
like
little bit.
yeah, like it definitely like enhanced a lot for a lot of people. It made you like, I mean, there's nothing to do, no distraction, you know what I mean?
Yeah.
Well, since your article was also on COVID, I did mine on COVID too, but mine is based more on whether or not it's permissible for schools to make it mandatory for you to get a vaccine to come back.
Oh, wow.
So the reason I chose this one is obviously because it raises a big question about whether or not this is something you can actually enforce. Because I know in the past they tend to have mandated that K through 12, you had to get your flu shot before you started attending school. So it's not like this is something new, but since this isn't something regarding children and it's more us as free, just thinking adults, it raises a new question of what they can and cannot mandate for us to do. So it seems like a few college campuses from the article I was reading have already instated kind of a student vaccine requirement, just like how the FGCU, you have to do the BLC, however you say it. We have to do that verification test to let them know that we're safe to come onto campus. Other campuses have started doing that too. also starting to implement like you needing to show them your vaccine card to show that you've been vaccinated. And I don't know how fall is gonna go, but it seems like with the fall semester coming back and international students having to go home and fly back into state, there's going to be a lot more issues coming up with that. As far as the takeaways, what might be legally permissible and what might not be in terms of requirements is still kind of up in the air for debate, only because the US Supreme Court had a case like this before. It was Jacobson versus Massachusetts. And it was basically over smallpox. Was it okay for the state to mandate everyone get a smallpox shot? Of course, the state was able to mandate that because it was seen as a national health crisis. It was something that was needed to help prevent things from getting worse. So in the case of this, I would say we should mandate it. Then another thing that the article pointed out was that there was a bit of sketchiness when it came to what you're allowed to mandate, because some people refuse vaccines for religious reasons, or they'll just do it for their own personal reasons, which we have no rights to walk over, because everyone's able to do the pursuit of freedom, liberty, happiness. I'm pretty sure I said that wrong, but essentially that. And if we choose to force them to get vaccinated, then that kind of brings up an ethical question of what you can and cannot force somebody to do. And since a lot of the vaccines aren't FDA approved yet, if we do decide to mandate them and something goes wrong, then that just creates a whole new problem. So the implication this will have for students is, like I said, international students coming back, the amount of privacy the school will have to delve into with getting information from you just to verify whether or not you're vaccinated. And I think that's about it. I'm sure there's more, but I've talked for long enough.
I think you're right that it's going to be like how you guys both said, it's going to be really controversial, and like whether or not a lot of like the schools are going to pick it up or not, which is going to be something that is going to be interesting, I feel like, to see as well. Um, are I feel like I saw for fall semester, are they doing no mask as well? I feel like that was
Yeah.
another thing. So I didn't know. I just wasn't sure honestly on that. So that's like another interesting sort of factor on how I feel like that's going to be a toss up in the air.
Mm-hmm.
In Florida, they're already starting the no mask mandate, so you can go into any store without them.
Yeah, Florida's a
able to
100% open again. Yeah,
Yeah.
it's crazy. I feel like we're gonna be starting to get very busy down here now for sure.
Yeah.
Tori, it seems like you're up.
I'm gonna be honest, guys, I didn't find an article. So I'll take this L.
I mean, is there like any just higher education issues that have been bothering you lately?
Honestly, I feel like the inequality issues like within universities, that's been like my main focus, like what I've been kind of like leading towards, just because I feel like most schools don't acknowledge the fact that there is inequalities within their colleges, but they just like, I don't know, paint this like picture for them to be all about diversity and all about, I don't know, inclusiveness.
It's like nobody wants to go to a college or a university where like they just kind of have that blatantly out there. So you gotta do a little bit of cover up.
Exactly.
Mm-hmm.
Well, then I feel like this is good. Then we'll just turn this in. Do you guys want to do every Tuesday at 6:45?
Yeah, I can do that.
Or we can switch it up. It doesn't matter. I'm gonna stop recording.